That's a big one. It's usually the hardest part of any journey, especially when you're building something from the ground up. What's been feeling the toughest lately?
Okay,
No worries.
what does stay motivated
You
during
got me.
tough time can makes you?
My bad. I'll let you finish.
Are you hearing me clearly?
Loud and clear.
I am asking what does staying motivated during tough times mean to you?
To me, it's not about pretending everything is fine. It's more about having a why that's stronger than the current mess. Like knowing that the struggle is actually part of the process, not a sign that you should stop.
Okay, why do people lose motivation when facing challenges?
I think it's usually because the gap between where they are and where they want to be starts to feel impossible. When the results don't show up as fast as the effort we're putting in, it's easy to feel like the work isn't working. Does that sound about right?
How can a person stay positive during difficult situations?
Honestly, it's about shifting the focus from the mountain to the next step. When you're overwhelmed, looking at the whole problem can be paralyzing. I've heard that focusing on small daily wins keeps the momentum going and stops that feeling of being stuck.
What are the biggest causes of stress and demotivation today?
I'd say a huge part of it is the constant noise. We're always seeing everyone's highlight reels on social media, and it makes our own messy middle feel like a failure. Plus, there's this pressure to have everything figured out immediately, which just isn't how growth actually works.
How can self belief help during hard times?
The anchor, it keeps you from drifting when things get chaotic. If you don't believe you're capable of finding a way through, you'll stop looking for the exit. Self belief is basically the voice that says, this is hard, but I'm the kind of person who handles hard things.
Why is patience important when facing struggle?
Passion is the fuel. It's what makes the struggle feel like a challenge instead of just a chore. When you're genuinely fired up about something, the setbacks become obstacles to solve rather than reasons to quit.
How can daily routine improve motivation?
It removes the guesswork. When you have a set rhythm, you don't have to rely on feeling motivated to get started because the habit just takes over. It turns the hardest part, starting, into an automatic response.
What role does discipline play in staying focused?
Discipline is basically the bridge between a goal and actually getting it done. It's what kicks in when the initial excitement wears off. Passion gets you started, but discipline is what keeps you moving when you're tired, bored, or just not in the mood.
How can social media affect motivation positively or negatively?
It's a double edged sword. On the flip side, it can be a great place to find communities and inspiration. But the danger is when we start comparing our behind the scenes with everyone else's edited version of success. It usually leads to a feeling that you're behind in life, which is a total motivation killer.
What habits can help people stay mentally strong?
I think journaling is a huge one. It gives you a place to dump all the noise and actually see your patterns. I've also heard that a regular practice of gratitude, even for tiny things, can basically rewire your brain to look for the good instead of the loop of what's going wrong. Do you keep any kind of a log or journal?
How can setting small goals increase confidence?
It's all about the evidence. Your brain needs proof that you can succeed. When you hit a small goal, it's like a tiny win that tells your mind, see, I can actually do this. The more of those wins you stack, the more your confidence builds. until the big goals don't feel so impossible.
Why is it important to avoid negative people during tough times?
Because energy is contagious. Negativity can act like a leak in your tank. When you're already struggling, you don't have the extra bandwidth to manage someone else's pessimism or doubt. It just makes the mountain feel steeper than it actually is.
Why is important to avoid negative people during tough time?
Like I was saying, negativity is just a drain. It's hard enough to find your own footing without someone else telling you why it won't work. You need people around you who see the vision, even when you're in the thick of it.
How can failures teach valuable life lessons?
Failure is basically just data. It strips away what doesn't work, which leaves you with a much clearer path to what actually does. Plus, it builds a kind of resilience that you can't get from just winning all the time.
Okay, what should people do when they feel like giving up?
First, just breathe. Then, try to zoom out. When you're in that headspace, the current problem feels like the entire world. But usually, it's just one bad chapter in a much longer story. I've heard it helps to ask yourself if you'd give up on a friend who was in the exact same spot. Usually, we're way kinder to others than we are to ourselves.
How can gratitude help improve mental strength?
It shifts your perspective. Instead of focusing on the gap, what you're missing, or what's going wrong, gratitude forces you to look at what's already working. It basically trains your brain to spot the wins, which makes you feel more equipped to handle the losses. You okay?
What is the difference between motivation and consistency?
Motivation is the spark, but consistency is the engine. Motivation is that sudden burst of energy that gets you started, but it's totally unreliable. Consistency is showing up even when the spark is gone. It's the discipline of doing the work regardless of how you feel.
How can learning new skills keep a person motivated?
It keeps things from getting stale. Learning something new gives you a sense of progress, which is a huge dopamine hit. Plus, it often opens up new ways to solve the old problems that were frustrating you. So the struggle starts to feel like a puzzle instead of a wall.
Why is having supportive friends or family important?
Because you can't carry the whole load by yourself. They're the ones who remember who you are when you've forgotten it yourself. Having people who can offer a reality check or just a bit of warmth makes the hard days feel a lot less lonely.
How can a person
It's a
manage
lot.
fear and anxiety during difficult moments?
Mm, I think it starts with naming it. Instead of letting it be this big, vague cloud of stress, actually saying, I'm feeling anxious about this, takes some of its power away. Then focusing on what you can actually control in the next 10 minutes, not the next 10 months, usually helps quiet the noise. Do you usually find that anxiety hits you more at the start of a project or when you're in the middle of the struggle?
No normal projects.
Fair enough. Some things just don't fit into a neat little project box.
Okay, what role does prayer or spiritually play in staying motivated?
It provides a foundation. For a lot of people, it's that feeling that there's a bigger plan at work, which takes the pressure off having to control every single detail. It turns a struggle into a test or a way to grow rather than just a random piece of bad luck. It's like having a source of strength that doesn't depend on your current circumstances.
What is your last message to beginners?
Just remember that the struggle isn't a sign that you're doing it wrong. It's actually a sign that you're in. Be patient with yourself, keep showing up, And don't let a bad day trick you into thinking you have a bad life. You've got this.
Okay, very thankful. So we will be come again on new topic. So that time we are living now and very thankful. You give me a time.
It was my pleasure. I'll be here whenever you're ready for the next topic. Take care.
Take care.